the Wall Street Journal's Kim Strassel on all of that. In other words, they're of equal weight, or at least curiosity, right, Kim?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't see how you can breathlessly report about the Donald Trump Jr. meeting, which, by the way, nothing ever came of it. He never actually obtained any opposition research, never paid for it, and then not think that it is a big deal that we now know that the DNC and the Clinton campaign, through a series of middlemen, essentially paid a foreign agent to gin up accusations from Russia, which got injected into our election.
But, you know, it is interesting in seeing how this is treated. And a lot of people are, well, you know, it's fatigue with all of this Russia stuff. But the one takeaway from it is that, you know, Russia might have been, you know, an unabashedly equal opportunity go-getter, right? I mean, going after anyone and everyone to exert some influence in this election. But in this case, in pay-for-play as well.
Well, you know, there has been this narrative out there pushed by a lot of the media saying that somehow we know that it was Putin's ambition to help Donald Trump. You know, that's an estimate, a guess from our intelligence community. What we do know beyond any doubt, and which everyone agrees on in the intelligence community, is that Putin's main goal was to sow distrust in American democracy and turmoil. And, you know, if that was the goal, look, how much better could it be than potentially having a dossier that the FBI ended up using to start an entire investigation into a sitting U.S. president and the scandal that's engulfed that presidency for a year. It certainly has caused a lot of turmoil.
And if you think about it, too, I mean, if the idea was to curry favor with the new president, he seems to have a cozier relationship with the head of France, Macron, than he does with the guy who supposedly bought and paid his way into the White House, Vladimir Putin. But leaving that aside, I am wondering about the uranium part of this deal, because that changes the game a little bit. Leaving aside monies that made their way to the Clinton Foundation and initiative, what were we doing?
Look, I think the bigger question there, first of all, there were Republicans all the way back when this sale was happening that were violently protesting against it, saying it is simply not a good idea to be transferring 20% of our uranium reserves to one of our biggest global opponents. But in addition, when you factor in the news that we knew the Justice Department and the FBI had credible evidence even before this agreement was made to transfer, that the American arm of this Russian company was engaged in money laundering and fraud and extortion, and that no one was made aware of this. That is very much worthy of investigation. And one good news start is that the Senate is going to be, it looks now, setting up an interview with this informant that provided that information.
But is that a bipartisan type of approach? I noticed that Adam Schiff, of course, the minority leader in the House Intelligence Committee, has poo-pooed this whole thing as just a distraction pushed by the White House. He goes on to say, and Fox and Breitbart. Normally, when you see that happening, it then gets to be labeled a politicized event. So where is all of this going?
Well, I would just say with regards to Adam Schiff, he's also spent the last 5 months poo-pooing the Republican efforts in the House to find out who paid for this dossier, saying there's nothing to see here. It's all a distraction. Well, turns out that that's not exactly the case. And, you know, I've been writing about just how much the Democrats have been trying to protect Fusion from having to answer any questions. And I think one has to ask themselves if some people weren't aware of who the funders of this project were in Congress, and we're trying very hard to protect that information from ever coming out.
Kim, great reporting. You've been on this before anyone was. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Neil.